Hello everyone, and we're going to ask this question. It's a question it's a debate that's been raging certainly on the official forums, and the question is, are HM flashpoints, level 60 HM flashpoints, too hard? Are they overtuned, or are they just right? Now, we've got to get some perspective on this, first of all. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the flashpoints. Now, for the last year, throughout certainly the entire year of 2014, we had no new HM flashpoint content. All the new flashpoints in 2014 were tactical, and then right at the end in December, all of a sudden we've got these new level 60 HM flashpoints, which many people are complaining about. So the question we want to ask is, are these flashpoints too hard, or is it just our expectations of what an HM flashpoint should be? Is that changed over the last few years? Because throughout 2014, we've been able to pretty much farm the level 55 HMs. Some more were added in 2013, but that was the last time we got new HM flashpoints. We went over a year. It was 2.3 was the last time before 3.0 that new HM flashpoints were introduced, and those were pretty hard at the time. Those Zerka flashpoints were pretty tough. They were pretty tough at the time, but most of us had outgeared HM flashpoints by then. So my point is that we spent a lot of 2014 being overgeared for content. We were overgeared for Dread Fortress, Dread Palace fairly easily. We were overgeared, way overgeared for the HM flashpoints for the majority of them. Certainly the 4 that launched with Rise of the Hutt Cartel. We were just so overgeared, and we were still having wipes in pug groups on them occasionally. That second boss in Athos, for some reason, caused a lot of wipes. Don't know why. All you had to do was kill ads. That was it from a DPS perspective. The tank just had to stand in a corner somewhere so that they couldn't get knocked around, and the healer, well, just had to heal the tank when they weren't getting stunned. So it wasn't that hard a fight. It was probably more difficult for the healer, at least, because if the DPS didn't kill the ads, it was a wipe. So again, a little bit difficult. But again, are these flashpoints really that hard? I've heard a lot of complaining about them. Personally, I don't find them that difficult, to be honest with you. Are they more difficult than the level 55s? Yeah, they are, but are they more difficult in the context of when they launched compared to level 55? I would say no, personally, because I did the level 55 flashpoints on the PTS when they first launched, and they were easy there, because what they did on the PTS for 2.0 is they gave you a full set of Arcanian gear with the set bonus and all. So of course level 55 flashpoints were a breeze. You just breezed right through them in Arcanian gear. You were way over geared for HM flashpoints. When we went live though, we found that the player base were nowhere near Arcanian quality. They were maybe 140, 148 maybe, with the occasional 156 piece that they found on the Keb. And it was tough. It was tough. We were in the same boat 2 years ago. It was almost that Rise of the Hutt Cartel launched. We were in the exact same boat, at least, where HM flashpoints were pretty tough. And I don't know if it's a newer generation of players that maybe expect these things to be easy, or maybe it's people who joined late in Rise of the Hutt Cartel that are complaining. Some people saying they've been there since launch. Some people, I don't know really what their experience is, but honestly, I don't think they're that much harder than the Rise of the Hutt Cartel ones. The Rise of the Hutt Cartel ones were tough, particularly the bonus bosses. They were always tough. The big thing that was the big problem I had with them, I did make a video about this earlier, was it wasn't the difficulty, it was the rewards. Since then, we've had patch 3.0.2, and the rewards have been scaled up appropriately. That's good. It's good that we're getting basic comms, not basic comms, we're getting elite comms instead of basics now. And the bonus boss is dropping a Musashi, that's a 192 non-set bonus piece of gear, as well as the final boss. So we're getting 2 192, or the chance to roll for 2 192 non-set bonus pieces. We shouldn't get set bonus pieces in these HMs. I guess the set bonus pieces are for the story mode ops, essentially. You don't really need the set bonuses for the story mode ops. Set bonuses tend to be, you need them for HM progression, really, or hardcore PvP if you're doing PvP, getting the set bonus there. But the big thing is, I don't find them... Sure, we have to pay attention. I mean, sure, you really do have to pay attention. As a healer, now I will qualify this and say I've never DPS'd any of these flashpoints. I can't be arsed waiting in the queue, to be honest. I was in the queue today. I was going to get footage today, but we'll probably get footage at a later date as a healer, so I don't know what the footage is going to be for this because I'm recording it. I was going to try. I spent 45 minutes in the queue as a DPS, and I did all my Yavin dailies. I did my Yavin weekly on a Monday. You know, I did it. This is Monday when I'm recording this, so I did all my Yavin dailies, and I got bored and logged out. 45 minutes it took me to do my Yavin weekly. That's not the Revan one, it was just the 8 quests for the 192 companion gear I was doing it for. So I did all those dailies and just logged out, and you know, got bored of waiting. But the healer tends to be, I've done it as all 3 healers. I've done with the Sage healer, the Merc, and the Scoundrel. I have to say, well, I'm quite biased towards the Scoundrel. I do find it easiest as the Scoundrel, to be honest with you, because it's my best geared character, and I do have 4 of the 6 192 set bonus pieces, so I do find them pretty easily. But again, I've done them since day 1, the 60, and I have to say they were really, really tough at first. I mean, but in that first week they were tough for everybody, and you could argue that the first week actually wasn't so bad. They were tough, but we weren't really wiping a hell of a lot. I think it's because the quality of the players in that first few weeks was pretty high. The quality of the players, you know, it was raiders you were doing it with people who were raiding, you know, we're trying to gear towards raiding. Now though, I think they're a little bit harder, because we're now starting to do this with your average group finder player. Now that is where the big difficulty lies. Your average group finder player who couldn't kill the corrupted Bothrian beast, who couldn't do the interrupts on Gate Commander Draxus, they are going to struggle with that. And you've got to ask the question, and the question has to be asked of BioWare, is who are HM flashpoints for? Because they're not for the hardcore raider. They're not. In the first week, they're gone. They're doing raids. That's what they're doing, you know. I'm kind of... I still want to do them, you know. You're doing them maybe for comms, you're doing them, but I like to queue. I like to do HM flashpoints. I tend to pug mine because I like to do mine at like 2 in the morning or something like that. That's when I do my HMs. There's no one on in your guild, or I like to do them like on an afternoon when nobody's on, so that's why I tend to pug. So the ability to pug this content easily is pretty essential. That's the whole point of an MMO, and not just something like Left 4 Dead or something like a co-op type game that we're looking at. That's the whole point of playing an MMO, is to be able to find a group of people at any time of the day, anytime you log in. That's the reason I play an MMO, and that's the reason most people play an MMO, is so that you can play with strangers mostly. That is, you know, one of the top reasons for playing an MMO. I like that. I like pugs, but it is getting to the stage where I'm getting tired of wiping, and we're wiping for basic things. The amount of times I walk up to the mob in stealth, about to CC, boom, the tank pulls. 2 seconds later, the tank dies. It's like, why didn't you? The tank, noob healer is what you get. And it's like, yeah, why didn't you let me CC? Is my question. Why didn't you let me CC? Or you CC, and all of a sudden, twin saber throw or orbital strike gets dropped, and it's like, you really need to stop this. We really need to get out of this. I did make a video about this. I did make a preparation video and say it's time to start respecting fight mechanics. It's time to start respecting pull orders. It's time to start breaking these bad habits. I made a video specifically saying this before 3.0 came out, and I hadn't played on the PTS or anything like that. You kind of know just from prior experience of expansions that it's going to be difficult. These first few months, they are going to be wipes. Be prepared to wipe, especially on the bonus bosses. They are pretty tough. There are certain bosses, at least they finally fixed the Assault on Tython boss for the Republic side. At least we can finally take the shields off. That's another boss I don't get why people find it hard. you take the orbital strike to the ad, you get out of the orbital strike. You know, you don't stand still, then you DPS the ad, and it's basically a very movement-based fight. Now, they've given us a lot of tools to make us better, give us better mobility, so I don't see what the big issue with this fight is. Take anything that gives you better mobility, take those utilities, because the game provides you with them. The game is providing you with melee DPS. Maybe they'll struggle a little bit, but you know, a lot of people also complain about Manaan. I thought Manaan was not that difficult. The last boss is a bit of a bitch, and the bonus boss is a pain, but other than that, Manaan, pretty easy, you know. Don't stand in the flow on the second boss. The first boss, just DPS the droids evenly. The first boss is just a long pain in the arse fight if the DPS don't know what they're doing. From a healer perspective, it's easy. Again, the second boss from a healer perspective, stack up when he does the flow, go towards the healer, and you just AoE heal during when he does the flow thing. Don't stand in the thing. Kill the ads, basically. The final boss is I quite like it. It's kind of interesting boss fight. It's really funny when the tank loses aggro. I think that's hilarious. And a DPS gets aggro, and you just see, you know they're panicking. You can see they're panicking. They run around in circles and try to kite the boss. What you have to do with that boss is you have to take it to the fire, really, to get the shield off of it. So you take it into the fire and you get the little shield that it has on it off of it. So what happens is he pushes the tank away, drops threat on the tank, and starts attacking one of the DPS. And the DPS just panic and run around in circles, and it's like, as a healer, I know this is going to happen. I know this. So I start healing the DPS. We always want to keep we tend to just keep whoever the best geared DPS is, it tends to be, because it's the DPS with the most threat. It's whoever's second on the aggro table, which is usually the DPS. Very rarely does it ever attack the healer. I've never seen it attack me. I've been attacked by the ads plenty of times, but then again, same thing, just run to the fire. Just, you know, pop defensive cooldowns and run into the fire. That's all you do on those ad phases. I've seen healers dying in that fight. I've seen healers complaining about that fight as well. It is a bit tough to heal, but you got to remember that you're going to be healing a DPS. You just got to be prepared for that as a healer. Be prepared to pop cooldowns on the DPS. I know we're conditioned to heal the tank, but there is going to be a point where one of the DPS is tanking. The best method to this is if you have a DPS that has a taunt. Basically what you can do is you can just get that DPS to then taunt the boss, and then it's control. You've got that DPS at least has control over the fight, and it's not just some random DPS. Because the first time I did Manaan was like the second day after the expansion came out, and I had a group where the other 3 people were in the same guild, and they were a raiding guild. That's what they said they were, at least, and they were quite well geared. They had 186 gear. That's another thing. I mean, a lot of people are saying that you really need decent gear. There's no reason why you shouldn't really have 186, because 186 is fairly easy to get. You can get 186 from doing dailies. You know, you get flooded with basic comms while leveling. There's no reason why you shouldn't hit 60 with at least you know, a couple of pieces of 186 gear to buy. Bear in mind that the more optimal 186 DPS gear can be bought from the GTN as well. And again, if you have alts, you can get 186 gear at level 58 it is. I'm going to say 56. I think the implants are level 56, but the actual mods and the barrels and the hilts are all level 58. So you can get them there. You can get them from the GTN as well. And bear in mind, if you buy the Yavin gear and pull the mods out, the mods will be level 58. So if you're gearing an alt, it's always a good idea to do the Yavin, to get the Yavin ones on an alt and pull them out and send them out. But again, you get 3 stacks of 99 basic comms for doing the weekly, the Forged Alliance's story quest. So they're always worth getting. I always think it's worth doing if you're leveling. So there's no real reason you shouldn't be starting level 60, and there's no reason to spend any commendations between level 55 and 60. I've leveled quite a few characters to 60 now, and I don't think I've ever bought any of the 172 gear, to be honest. I haven't bought any of that, to be honest. You get the 162 from the Forged Alliance's flashpoints. You get the solo mode flashpoints. You do the story for that. And when you get to Rishi, you get 168 gear, which is fine. And then towards the end of Rishi and into Yavin, you'll get 178. So there's no reason why you shouldn't start level 60 and 178. Now I know the recommended item level for these flashpoints is 178, but I would recommend 186 to be honest. Unless you're keeping, you know, armorings for the set bonus, then that's okay. You can keep 180 armorings or maybe even 168, but I would recommend at least getting as much 186 gear, at least get the barrel, the main hand barrel, get the offhand at least, and you know, just so you've got that armoring and that damage output. So you can, you know, hit, because some of these things are DPS checks, like that final boss on Manaan. You have a time limit, so of course it's a DPS check then, if you can't do it in the time limit. It's usually, very rarely as a result of bad DPS, it's usually a result of not getting him to the fire quick enough. You gotta get him to the fire. That's the biggest thing. Get the ads to the fire, because the ads die in the fire as well. The ads will die with an AoE if you put them in the fire. The ads hit like a truck, so you got to get to the fire quickly as you can. Pop a defensive cooldown. The amount of times that as a healer I just make a beeline for the fire and everybody else is at the other end of the room and I'm like, where is everybody? You know, I get slightly annoyed by that. So anyway, we'll talk about that. Are they hard? Is anyone finding them really difficult? Any one particular mechanic? Because honestly, they are challenging. The bonus bosses are really challenging, but I've seen they're a good challenge. I like the challenge. It's a welcome challenge for me. I don't mind at all the challenge. But yeah, some people don't like it. And people who quit after one wipe annoy me. Or quit if they die. I mean, it's like, you're probably going to die and you're probably going to wipe once. So be prepared for that. Bring repair money to these HMs for the first few months. It's not like the level 55 HMs where we got annoyed when we wiped because, hey, we're wiping in this. This is face roll easy now. It always happens at the start of an expansion, really. But don't worry, they will get easier. They don't have to be nerfed, at least, because we're going to get better gear. Every time I'm doing this, I do a little bit better, because every time I'm getting better gear, you know, maybe I get some commendations for it. You're getting, you know, money to buy augments, so you're getting better gear every time. And every time I do it, now that we're raiding, it's actually much easier to heal in the raids than it is, I would say, than it is the HM flashpoints. I do like small group content. It's good though, because especially as a healer, because you're the only healer. It's all on you as a healer. I quite like that actually. You've no other healer to back you up and help you out. It's quite cool actually. But again, we will take a look at these HMs. We will pug a few of them. We'll do a few Let's Pugs of these HM flashpoints in the next few weeks. Now that we can get regular flashpoints, and now that they're worth doing because we're getting elite comms from them, maybe try a DPS. We'll try a little DPS run if we have the patience to do it. Gonna level a tank and see what they're like to tank. Apparently they're a pain in the arse to tank. I've spoke to a few tanks and they've said they really don't like the lack of control they have on the bosses, some of these bosses, and some of the aggro drop mechanics and so forth. So we'll have a little look at that, and we'll have a look at tanking some of these flashpoints. So that is all for this video. So thank you for joining me, and I'll see you again soon, and goodbye.